The movie opens with a young girl named Sawyer jogging on a track early in the morning. She is a diligent and ambitious college senior. During her run, she gets a call about an interview she has been anticipating for many days. She feels happy to get the interview call and wants to seize this opportunity. So she decides to drive to Washington from her home, although Washington is far from the city. Sawyer prepares himself for the interview and then leaves for Washington without informing anybody else of his decision. Sawyer starts her journey filled with optimism and resolve. At first, the road trip may appear uneventful, but it quickly takes an unexpected turn when she finds herself caught in heavy traffic caused by a local festival. Opting for a different path, she chooses to navigate the lesser-known roads of Kentucky. As she continues her journey, she discovers the way is blocked and decides to navigate using a paper map rather than a GPS device. After driving, she takes a different route and pulls over to consult the map. As she makes her way farther into the Appalachian woodland, Sawyer turns back, only to be discovered by two brothers, Buck and Hollister, who are burying a corpse. They see her passing by them and are concerned, as she might have seen them burying a dead body suspiciously. So they pursue Sawyer to kill her and discover her poring over a paper map. They approach her and at first pleasantly speak to her, but later their attitude changes and they begin to misbehave. At this, Sawyer feels their ulterior motives and responds by kicking one of them, but he manages to prevent her from moving forward. Sawyer uses a knife that she always carries with her to inflict injuries on the youngster during the struggle, and then she flees to get away. Both brothers are enraged and determined to get to her at any cost. During the intense struggle, both Buck and Sawyer end up with wounds inflicted by a knife. Sawyer makes a hasty escape to save her life and increases the distance away from them. As the sun sets and darkness descends upon the land, the brothers abandon their pursuit and retreat from the depths of the woods. As a result of walking for the whole of the day, she ultimately becomes disoriented in the woods. Her leg sustains an injury and she becomes exhausted. She goes to a creek to quench her thirst and sip some water. However, she is forced to spend the night there when night sets. Meanwhile, a woman calls the authorities to report Sawyer's car, which has been parked on the road for a whole day without anyone inside. Later, the authorities reach there and discover her vehicle. One of the investigating officers notices some markings, indicating someone has been dragged about while looking around. The officer goes to the homes in the neighborhood and eventually arrives at the brothers' residence. He investigates the elder brother and asks if he knows whose vehicle it is, but he categorically refuses to answer. At the same time, his younger brother shows in, bearing blood on his shirt as a result of the assault that Sawyer committed on him. After determining no evidence against them, the officer leaves silently. Sawyer is still lying near the stream, and for the last 24 hours, she has been experiencing agony, hunger, and thirst. She pushes onward with her damaged leg, even though she is weak from the loss of blood. The brothers threw her car over the edge of the mountain to avoid drawing the attention of the authorities. She hears sounds coming from the hill and sees a vehicle falling. She goes near her damaged car and finds her almost thickened phone. She picks it up and finds its battery is nearly dead. She tries to locate any available network, but unfortunately no network is working there. Then she falls again, losing her senses. When she returns to consciousness, she finds herself lying on a bed in a room with a young man named Lowell, who has bandaged her leg while she was out of her senses. Lowell is a meth cook who is cousin to Hollister and Buck, but doesn't tell her anything about his relationship with the brothers. In fear, Sawyer begins to yell at him since she does not know him and can't trust him. Lowell tries to calm her down, but Sawyer throws lye in his face in an attempt to escape. To stop her from yelling and escaping, Lowell binds her wrists and feet. Taking pity on her in such a miserable condition, he provides her with food and water. Then, he asks her why she ventured into the woods. Sawyer explains everything that happened to her. On the other hand, the brothers have found a piece of her clothing and realize she is still out there. Sawyer and Lowell can hear a vehicle driving outside. Sawyer yells for assistance, but Lowell remains silent and keeps her eyes open, eventually locating the brothers who knock at his door and ask about Sawyer, but Lowell tells them he does not know any girls. The brothers feel suspicious and get into his home. Seeing them, Sawyer hides behind a damaged vehicle outside Lowell's home. The brothers look into his house but find no girl there, so they leave after some time. Lowell comes out and gets angry with Sawyer and tells her she should not have gone out. Lowell is a good guy having no bad intentions towards Sawyer. He wants to save her from her brutal cousins. Lowell clarifies to Sawyer that he isn't taking her hostage. Instead, he's patiently awaiting the brothers' arrival with the meth batch. He plans to borrow their pickup and ensure Sawyer's safe passage. Sawyer and Lowell find a moment to unwind and connect as they engage into a conversation about the intricate chemistry behind cooking meth. Sawyer lends a hand in assisting Lowell with the preparation of the batch. The county sheriff O'Doyle, who visited the brothers earlier, pays them another visit. He is involved with the brothers in the distribution of illegal drugs and warns them that they may be located and arrested. In the sheriff's office, O'Doyle instructs Deputy Katz to disregard the missing vehicle report, but permits Katz to contact the registered owner to provide reassurance. As Kentucky State Police Commander Slattery enters, Katz shares his collected details regarding Sawyer's sudden vanishing. Slattery is frustrated with O'Doyle's approach to the case and insists on immediate action, which seems to upset O'Doyle. As fate would have it, Katz stumbles upon a clandestine conversation between O'Doyle and the brothers. Fueled by a sense of duty, he makes a valiant attempt to apprehend the sheriff. Tragically, O'Doyle resorts to extreme measures, ending Katz's life and enlisting the brothers to eliminate any trace of his existence. Upon Slattery's return, O'Doyle stumbles upon some conveniently placed evidence pointing to Katz's involvement in Sawyer's disappearance. Acting quickly, O'Doyle takes matters into his own hands and conceals Katz's untimely demise. As Slattery takes charge of the investigation, he quickly mobilizes the state police, effectively sidelining O'Doyle. Meanwhile, the sheriff, driven by a desire to outshine the encroaching drug cartel, departs to assist the brothers with their meth delivery. O'Doyle warns the brothers that they may be discovered. O'Doyle suspects that Sawyer is inside Lowell's home and insists that the house be searched when Loyal and Sawyer are already outside. After receiving the information from the police, the brothers go to the residence to discover Sawyer. They put their guns on them, making them hostages, and ask Lowell about Sawyer, who tells them he has Sawyer under control, having taught her how to heat a cup of coffee for him using a thermos that was previously observed to hold anhydrous ammonia. In a tragic turn of events, the microwave unexpectedly detonates, resulting in the devastating loss of Buck's life. Lowell and Hollister are left severely wounded by the explosion. However, Lowell bravely shields Sawyer from the blast amidst the chaos, protecting them from harm. Sawyer manages to flee as the trailer is engulfed in flames, while Lowell finds himself locked in a fierce battle to gain the upper hand against Hollister. O'Doyle reaches there swiftly, dispatching both cousins before scooping up Sawyer. Sawyer instantly recognizes O'Doyle's true intentions when she hears him use an idiom she had overheard him say in a previous conversation with Lowell. It becomes clear to her that O'Doyle harbors hostile intentions, which immediately raises her suspicions. O'Doyle takes her to Rust Creek and attempts to drown her, but she defends herself by using a weeding fork she had taken from Lowell's trailer earlier, stabbing him in the process. With her pursuers left behind, Sawyer presses on down the road, her determination unwavering despite her limp. The sound of multiple state police cruisers approaching grows louder behind her.